Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jenny Chestnut, and I am the founder and executive director of More Locked Doors Ministries. I must start out by saying that this is not exactly what I had imagined for our third annual Unlocking New Beginnings event that was scheduled for April 26th. The event, called a Shindig, was going to have sparkly lights, LED balloons, purple glitter and music, karaoke, and tons of live testimonies from our girls, and really yummy food. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19 and the social distancing constructs that have been put into place for all of us to follow, our gathering had to be canceled. So in case you didn't know what a Shindig is, it's a large, lively celebration. Obviously, this is not large and probably not exactly lively, but it is a celebration. We will celebrate this past year the 120 phenomenal women that we have served and look towards and celebrate the year to come. Welcome to our Virtual Shindig. First, I would like to introduce Kara Burns. Kara and I met a few years ago when we were both speaking for a nonprofit event. Kara is an outstanding human being, and she really has a heart for women in crisis. So Kara and I actually went to prison at the same time, and we got out almost at exactly the same time, but she went to federal prison and I went to state prison. So let's listen to what Kara has to say about why No More Locked Doors is so needed in our community.
Hi, I'm Kara Burns, and I was released from federal prison in 2013. I was federally indicted by the federal government for conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine. My charge carried a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years. Something profound happened to me when I was looking at a 10-year sentence in federal prison. I realized I didn't want to live that life anymore, and I really started to drill down on who God was and what that relationship looked like. And I will say that that's definitely the beginning of my new life, was that time period. So by the time I went to sentencing, my judge could see that I had changed, and she gave me a sentence variance down to 63 months. And I started to prepare for my release and going through interview skills. And I had been dreaming about what it would be like to be released from prison for like 2.5 years. And in my mind, it was going to be this great thing, and it was going to be wonderful, because who doesn't want to get out of prison, right? It wasn't. The day that I was released from federal prison was not the dream that I had thought and built it up to be in my mind. They put me on a bus, and I was bused down to Fort Collins and had to shortly transfer down to Denver and had no means to do so. The thing that really nobody tells you that I had to figure out the hard way was I had nobody. I couldn't go back to those same old people. And, obviously in treatment they say, you just have to watch your people, places, and things, and I get that on an intellectual level, but on the ground, when you have nothing and nobody, it's so easy to go back to what you know. It's so hard to do something that you don't know where the road is going to take you, and it's completely lonely. Nobody's saying, hey, I've been where you've been before. I certainly didn't have that when I was released from prison. There's 10,000 people a week that are released from prison in this country. That's 650,000 people a year. I met Jenny with No More Locked Doors at an event that we were both speaking at about a year ago. And I'd like to share that what she is doing is amazingly impactful in this community. She is bridging a gap in services that desperately needs to be bridged. There needs to be people and services in this community that care enough to the point that someone can be cared about the day that they're being released from prison, because that's the day that it matters. Being told, hey, you're worthy, I know you can do this, and I believe in you. nothing can compare with someone telling someone else that, a woman telling another woman that. If I could have heard that, I wonder how it would have changed the struggle for me. I was blessed with new teeth. I have a job that's wonderful. I've bought a condo. I have amazing people in my life today. People like Jenny have changed my entire life. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the work that she's doing in this community because she's really making a difference.
So she's pretty awesome, huh? I just love her. So I was released from prison with a clear white trash bag filled with legal paper, a few crocheted animals that were made by friends, $100, and an overwhelming fear. I was completely starting my life over again from scratch, and I was scared to death. I had several appointments that first day, and not only was I on sensory overload from all the different sights, smells, people, but I was an emotional wreck. My self-esteem was in the toilet. I didn't feel worthy or valued or treasured, especially after I was given an ugly black backpack filled with men's hygiene products. I think it was meant to be helpful, and don't get me wrong, I was grateful because I literally had nothing, but smelling like Old Spice did nothing for my deteriorating self-worth. So I never want another woman to feel the way that I did that day. Therefore, an integral part of our program is the Joy Bag. And the Joy Bag is a unique and stylish backpack filled with amazing products. It's everything I wanted when I got out of prison, but didn't have. I am just so blessed to be able to watch all of my girls open their bags. It literally makes my heart so happy. I always ask them, did the bag bring you joy? And they always say yes. Anyway, during the past year, we have served 120 women. We have celebrated 42,048,000 minutes of clean and sober time, and over 100 brand new jobs. We've had over 500 mentorship meetings and approximately 58,575 text conversations. We have visited over 1,600 locations for lunches, coffees, dinners, doctor's appointments, parole appointments, counseling appointments. Let's see what else. Job interviews, job training, as well as phone stores, clothing stores, church services, church gatherings. We have made a lot of memories, and so we've had lots and lots of celebrations. I feel like celebrations are so important to just let the girls know that they're doing great things, and even if it's a small celebration, a small thing, we're gonna celebrate it.
Hi, my name is Carrie Cook, and I am speaking on behalf of More Locked Doors Ministry. A little backstory on myself. I was raised in an abusive household, so I grew up feeling alone, never asking for help or ever admitting there was a problem. To look perfect was always my goal. The one time I asked for help, it wasn't taken seriously, and I ended up in jail. At 19 years old, I was facing 48 to 64 years in prison. On Halloween of 2019, I was granted parole. After doing only 8 years, I had no family, no friends, and minimal support. My cellmate in prison told me about Jenny Chestnut from No More Locked Doors Ministry. I avoided calling her for a few days out of disbelief she'd help me, but when I called, she was so sweet, nice, and welcoming. I have had plenty of reasons and excuses to give up or go back to prison, but with support, I worked through them head on and knew I would never be alone again. With No More Locked Doors by my side, I have been self-harm free. I have a voice, I have feelings, I am comfortable with who I am now, and I know good will come out of this journey.
Hello everyone, my name is Bethany Brandt. I am 32 years old. I am a DOC inmate who is now currently living at the ACRC here in Littleton, Colorado. Been in the halfway house about 7 months now, a little over 7 months actually. And I can also tell you that I was lucky that I met Jane Chestnut through No More Locked Doors. She was actually at a re-entry since I got out August 21st of 2019. She has literally been my biggest support. As you know, like I said, I'm not from here, so I have no family ties, I have no friends here. I don't know anything about the community, I don't know my way around, I had no idea where to get clothes at, who would help me, who wouldn't help me, bus tickets, how am I gonna speak to my family, my parents, how am I gonna let them know I'm out? She literally took every ounce of weight off my shoulders. No More Locked Doors is very essential for women like me who have nobody, who have no ties, who have no support. Even if they do have support, to have a little bit more extra support. I really gotta say that I do owe my life to Jenny. I do owe my life to No More Locked Doors. Women like me, without support like her, don't have a chance. There is not that many organizations or groups who help people like me, who helped people like even Jenny when she was in our path. The best thing that I love about her is that she knows what we're going through. She's been here, she's done this, and she's made it. And she's a rock star, and she just helps everybody, and she loves and she cares, and she looks past your flaws and just brings out the good in you, and definitely talks about God with you.
Hello, my name is Courtney Jones. Ever since the day that I've met Jenny Chestnut, she has been a huge impact in my life. She has helped me out phenomenally, not only with the clothing that she was able to help me with, but also with a lot of the mental support that she helps me with. We talk daily, and she is such a phenomenal woman. I love her so much. Whenever I'm having issues and I talk to her, she helps calm me down. She's been so incredibly amazing to me, and I have had to go through a lot of anxiety coming out of prison, and she was there, and she sat there and she talked to me about it, and she understood where I was coming from. Back in the day, there wasn't programs like this for women who are getting out of prison, and they didn't have nothing because there was no programs available to them. I want to see that this program goes further and further and further and continues to build, because there's so many women that need this help.
My name is Julie Palmieri, and I would like to share a little of my story and history with the amazing, talented, and supportive Jenny Chestnut and No More Locked Doors Ministries. When I met Miss Jenny Chestnut in 2016, I was fresh out of prison for the 5th time, living in a sobriety house. Jenny would come to the house weekly to do Bible study with us and offer her support and encouragement. This is something that she chose to make This was something she chose to make time for in the midst of her busy life. She made time to take us to church. She personally took me Christmas shopping for my loved ones and intentionally invested her time in my life. She began teaching me what a friend looks like. I started reaching out to God. I had grown up in the church. I heard people testify to God changing their lives, and wasn't I saved? Hadn't I repeatedly repented and sought after God? It hadn't worked before. Something inside of me told me not to be concerned with that today. Today is the day of salvation. I put my hands up in surrender to the Lord, letting go of the fear and doubt, and made the decision to put God's word as the bottom line in my life. I didn't have contact with many people in prison, but the Lord knew that I needed people in my life, and Jenny was one of those. She sought me out. She contacted me when I was embarrassed, ashamed, and hopeless. There are so many more out there like myself that just need one person to show them that they are worthwhile and loved. No More Locked Doors Ministries gives these women the resources and the support that we women need to live the lives that God has in store for us. No More Locked Doors Ministries needs your support to help these women, such as myself. Today, I'm happy to say that I'm successfully completing the halfway house, been able to build strong, healthy relationships, and I'm moving to Lakewood to live in a stable, safe house for the first time in a very long time. This changed my life, and Jenny Chestnut and No More Locked Doors, and every one of you that donates and contributes are 100% responsible for my success. I don't know where I would be without the love and the support of all of you. Thank you for donating and for being a part of this life-changing ministry.
Without the help of Jenny Chestnut and No More Locked Doors Ministries, I don't think that I would be able to have the courage to continue to walk the walk that I'm walking, not only in my recovery, but also in my spiritual walk. Jenny Chestnut has been a really big support to me before I even was released from prison. She makes sure that she goes to every reentry panel that she can go to, and she delivers a message of hope. Had it not been for the ministry, I probably wouldn't have a jacket right now. I probably wouldn't have any clothes. You know, people may think that a bottle of lotion or a toothbrush bigger than your finger wouldn't have an effect, but it does. It helps you remember that you are human. And, you know, being in prison, you feel like you are forgotten. And Jenny has been an inspiration to me to keep pushing and keep fighting and keep persisting and keep enduring. And her story, along with many other women who have gotten out and have been successful and are still doing it, are an inspiration. And this ministry that Jenny has gave me hope, and it still gives me hope.
Wow, had I not previewed those videos beforehand, I most likely would have been teary-eyed like I was when the first time I saw them. I just can't tell you how ridiculously proud I am of all my girls. I'm just so thankful to these ladies for being vulnerable and sharing some of their personal experiences. So speaking of personal experiences, I'd like to share part of my story with you. After decades of drug addiction and criminal behavior, I landed in prison when I was 38 years old. I spent 2 years and 2 months at Denver Women's Correctional Facility. And if you would like to know more about what led to my incarceration, please visit our website, and my story is there. And we'll be giving you that web address at the end of this video. So I have been out of prison for 6.5 years, and I've been clean, just clean and sober, just about 10 years. It was in 2017 that I founded No More Locked Doors Ministries because I wanted to help women getting out of prison. Our organization helps to bridge the gap from prison to the community for these women, because the need for these women to have quality support is so great. Most of these women have never had even one positive, encouraging, supportive person in their lives. Our organization offers that person. So it was just over a year ago that God blessed me and gave me the opportunity to be able to work with my girls full time. So I refer to these women as my girls because, well, that's how I see them. We share a common bond. Having each been in prison, we're able to connect in a really valuable and unique way, because this is a relationship business. And it is the relational part of this business that is key to the success of my women. 91% of my girls have addiction issues. 67% of them have mental health issues. And 100% of all the ladies that I work with have experienced trauma. So that being said, trust is not exactly easily given. So how do you build trust? You build it by showing up. You build it by doing what you say you're going to do. You build it by listening without judgment. And then you do those 3 things over and over and over again. So obviously there's not a cookie cutter approach that works with each woman because of their different needs, different levels of support, their different unique talents and abilities. So that being said, our program is tailored to their individual needs. About a year ago, I stood in front of you guys and told you, or many of you guys, and told you that I had a goal of working with 4 new women per month. And at that time, I really had no idea how I was going to do that. I had no idea how I was going to be able to get connected to the women. But what I did know is that God had given me a purpose. And it's only through His grace and mercy that I stand here in front of you today. I wholeheartedly believe that I could not have changed my life without Jesus. I am His hands and feet, but He is definitely in control of this ministry. And boy, has He taken hold and started running. It's really been all I could do to keep up. We have nearly tripled our original goal, and we are adding 10 to 12 new women per month currently to the No More Locked Doors family. And I'm able to go into the prison now a couple times per month and either speak directly with the women, or I'm also a part of a few advisory boards that focus on education, programming, and reentry. Who would have ever thought that I would be invited to come to the prison, let alone that I would have said yes. But my most joyful moments are spent talking to the ladies that are within about 180 days of release, and I'm able to go in there and give them hope. I'm able to show them that it is possible to make it in this world, and that they can have dreams, and that they can become a reality. Really, that is the best part of my job, is going into the prison. Over the next year, our focus is going to be on expanding, figuring out how we can help more women, and how we can duplicate what we are already doing so well. We have several exciting grant opportunities coming up and some new community partnerships. And I just want to thank you for being a part of changing so many lives. We are making a difference. I want to introduce to you now Steve Hendrickson. He is the president of our board for No More Locked Doors Ministries, and he has worked tirelessly on this video, as well as over this past year. He really wants to help female returning citizens and help to give them the best possible beginnings that they can in their new chapters of their life. So I just want to thank him for all that he's doing, and I also want to tell him that I love him because he is my dad. So please welcome Steve to your screens.
Thank you, Jenny, for those kind words. Love you with all my heart. So proud to be a part of No More Locked Doors, and to see how God is using you to reach women coming out of prison who are confused and scared and not knowing what the next step is that they should take, and how God has so mightily used you just makes your dad very proud. You know, in the book of Joel in the Old Testament, it says that God will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. And to realize that all those years that Satan was trying to destroy you and cause you harm, now God is using those things and turning them for good, so that you have the credibility that you need with these women coming out, so they can trust you, and you can talk to them in a way that identifies to where they're at, and what a wonderful thing God has done. You know, since I'm an old guy, I love sharing stories, and love to share a quick one with you. There was a gentleman named George Whitefield who was a British cleric in the 18th century. And he spent time evangelizing all over Europe, sharing the gospel. And during that time, a lady, a rich heiress, came to him and said, "What would you do if I gave you $1 million?" And he immediately said, "I would go to the United States and spread the gospel." And that's exactly what he did. And those of you that read your history, you remember there was a time called the Great Awakening. Well, George Whitefield was very responsible for causing that Great Awakening to happen. The thing is, even though he was a tremendous doer, he couldn't have accomplished near what he did without a very generous donor. And I guess that's what I'd like you to consider today. This is a very raw video. We're all doing these things from our home, and that's probably where you're at when you're listening to this. But you know, it's amazing all of the things that God has been able to accomplish through Jenny. She's an energetic doer, but all that she does is impossible without those donors that are willing to connect with her ministry. So would you ask God today, get some time alone and say, God, what would you like me to do? How would you like me to be a part of this ministry? Obviously, your prayers are very important, but financial donations are also needed for Jenny to continue to do what she's doing. So I thank all of you for your interest. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless you. We love you.